The door slammed without warning, interrupting my peaceful moment of reading in the quiet house. It was an old house with creaky floorboards and regular drafts that rattled the windows. So when the door slammed, I didn't immediately think much of it. However, there was something different about this sound, a finality to it that echoed the hollowness in my chest. The slamming had come from the spare bedroom. I'd only ever used it for storage, not since my mom passed away and my dad moved into a care home. I had just finished making some repairs around the garden, so I had dirt under my fingernails and grass stains on my clothes. But it was a beautiful day and I didn't care. My mom would have liked it, and that was all that mattered. I wiped my hands on a nearby rag and headed inside. The house had been in my family for a long time. It wasn't a big place, but it was comfortable. When I was younger, I shared a room with my sister, but as we got older, we each took our own rooms. My sister left first. She got married and moved out of state, and Mom and Dad downsized, leaving me the house after they both passed away within a few years of each other. The spare bedroom where the door had slammed was at the end of a short hallway. We didn't use it much, but whenever a family came over, they stayed in there. I approached the door cautiously. I couldn't help but feel like I was being watched. The feeling was unpleasant, and I wanted to get rid of it. But instead of opening the door, I walked past it and into the kitchen. It was then I saw them. 2 enormous black bags sat on my kitchen table. I froze. I'd sworn I'd locked the house up before leaving for the day, and no one knew where I lived. Whoever had put the bags there had obviously broken in. And I didn't know what was inside the bags, but I felt an overwhelming urge to find out. Slowly, I began to untie the drawstrings. What did I see? Inside was a massive stack of letters tied together with string, along with a box filled with photographs and home videos. With shaking hands, I opened the first letter. It was addressed to me, and the handwriting was elegant and flowing, unlike anything I'd seen before. My fingers trembled as I read the first line. To my darling boy, I hope this finds you well. I looked up. Memories flashed before my eyes, memories of my childhood, of my parents singing to me in this very kitchen. What was this person, and more importantly, who were they to me? As I read further, my heart sank. By now, your father has probably told you about us, about how we met, and about the love we shared. So they were one of my parents' former flames. But why were they giving me these letters now? I quickly skimmed through the rest of the letter, my mind in overdrive. It spoke of lost love, of missed opportunities, and of a life that could have been. It ended with love always, your mother. Mom, what was going on? Why was she giving me these letters? And why now? I stumbled over to the table and stared at the box filled with photos and videos. I needed answers. And in that moment, I realized the only way I was going to get them was to look through the box myself. There was something important in there. Something was trying to tell me something. I carefully lifted the lid and sifted through the items inside. There were photos of me as a baby and a young child. I remembered these. They were taken in the garden. I also saw photos of my parents as young adults. They were smiling and carefree, and they looked happy. But then I saw a photo of my parents standing next to a woman. It was her, the woman from the letters. I looked through the rest of the box, hoping for answers, but all I found was a camcorder from the 80s. What I hadn't noticed before was a label on the side. I turned it over and read, Mom and Andrew, 1984. I inserted the batteries and hit play. On the screen, my mom and the woman from the letters stood in front of a bookshelf. They were laughing and talking, and it was clear they were best friends. It made sense. Why wouldn't my mom keep these letters? This must have been the reason she kept them all. They were memories of a time when she was happy. The tape played on, and I watched in amazement. The two women spoke of their hopes and dreams for the future, including the dream of adopting a child. My mom was talking about adopting a baby girl. I've always wanted a daughter, she said. Her words hung in the air. What did that mean? The tape changed, and I saw my mom walking down a hospital corridor. Beside her was the woman, and they were both holding my baby sister. I stopped breathing. This was my sister. She wasn't adopted. She was born. If she was born, then why did Mom give her up? The tape played to the end, and I watched in disbelief as my mom cradled my newborn sister. On the screen, she looked happy, but her eyes were filled with sadness. As the tape turned off, I looked down at the photographs. In one of them, I saw my mom holding my sister and looking directly at the camera. In that moment, I understood. My mom hadn't given up my sister. She'd been given up herself. The weight of this revelation pressed down on me, making it hard to breathe. I thought about the hundreds of hours I'd spent in this house, the memories made here, and yet there was so much I didn't know, so much of my past that had been hidden from me. What else didn't I know? Was I adopted? Was my dad really my dad? Suddenly, the house felt strange and unfamiliar. The creaking floorboards and rattling windows seemed to whisper secrets I wasn't meant to hear. In my haste to uncover the truth, I hadn't noticed the floorboard under my feet make a sound. My dad had always called it the music box floorboard. He said if you stepped on it just right, it would play a tune. I leaned down and pressed my ear to the floorboard. Faintly, I heard a melody, a lullaby my mom used to sing to me. As I listened, I realized the floorboard wasn't just making music, it was telling me something important. The answer to the question that had been plaguing me since I was a child. The question that had led me to search through boxes of old letters and home videos, the question, who am I? I stood up, a strange calm washing over me. I knew who I was and where I came from. But even more importantly, I knew where I needed to go. The house may have been filled with secrets, but it was also filled with love. The love of a mother who, despite her own struggles, had always tried to protect her children. And now that I knew the truth, I was ready to honor her memory by finding my sister. I picked up the box, the letters, and the camcorder, and walked out of the house. As I closed the door behind me, I promised myself I would find her. No matter what, I would find her.